But if you already have an imbalance and maybe your shoulders are imbalanced because, you're a secretary and you're like this a lot or you're on the phone a lot, or maybe you drive a lot, or maybe you type a lot, or maybe you sit a ton, you're going to have imbalances. There's no way around it. We all have imbalances. Even as much as I do this, I literally focus on my body. That's my life. And I still have imbalances. So you probably do too. So we want to address those the best that we can before we start adding more stress onto the body. Because likely if we add stress, majority of the stress is going to collect in an area it's already been collecting in. So why would we make the situation worse? And you're just starting out. Most people stop their fitness routine because they get injured or they don't have any results. The results part is why you're watching this video, to help you get some of the details. But the injuries can be so avoided, again, if you get the details, but if you just start slow. It's kind of like that whole slow down to speed up type thing, right? You got to backtrack a little bit. You got to take your foot off the gas and understand where the turns and speed bumps are and ditches and all that stuff. You got to understand that stuff before you floor it to try to get to your destination the quickest. I'd rather actually get to your transformation destination rather than have you quit because you get injured. I can't be mad at you if you stop because you're injured. I wouldn't be mad at you, but I can't judge you or anything like that. It's like, look, you're injured. Yes, stop. But could it have been avoided? So that's what flexibility is for. That is what manual therapy is for. So remember, my background, physical therapy and massage therapy. I made everybody slow down. Anyone that came to work with me in person, they had to slow down in order to move on to the more advanced stuff. So they had to learn my foam rolling techniques. They had to learn how to use a lacrosse ball or therapy against the wall before we could go into any type of muscle building. They had to learn what part of their leg is tighter than the other part. They had to learn all of this stuff because there was no way that we were going to move forward. Again, if let's say like and I'll go detail, I'll go basics. Let's say your hip flexors are tighter and your hamstrings are tighter than the rest of your body. The last thing I want to do is have you doing exercises that make those tighter. I would rather you address it, loosen it up, lengthen it a little bit more, stimulate the other muscles that have now become weak. Like, for example, let's say you sit a lot, right? If you were to you can look it up online, right? If you were to look at an image of somebody from a side view who's sitting all the time, the problem with that, you're going to see a 90-degree angle scrunched in the front of the hip. You're going to see a 90-degree angle in the knee. And what happens is the muscle that pulls the knee, that pulls the leg and bends that, you're sitting on that. That's your hamstring. It's meant to be a very long muscle. It's meant to have flexibility. If you're sitting on it all day, one, it's getting weaker because it's realizing, I need to be a cushion. And then two, the knee's bent all day. So it's just effectively getting shorter because it's not going to its maximal length. Same exact thing with the hip thruster, with the hip flexor. That's getting shorter because you're sitting all day. Now think about the glutes, right? You're sitting on your glutes all day. Again, your body's like, okay, you don't need me to hold you up. You need me to be soft and cushiony because you're going to sit on me all day. So the muscle starts to change because of that. Then you can think about your calves getting tight. Then you can think about your back rounding as well. There's so much, and the shoulders protract and the front of the neck gets tight and you're reaching forward. So the back of the neck gets lengthened and loosened and weak. All of these things happen just from sitting. So imagine you get in the car, sit to drive to work. You stand up, you go up the steps real fast, 10 minutes, whatever, you're back to sitting till your lunch break. You go to the lunchroom, sit down and eat. You come back, sit down and finish your shift. You get back in the car, sit in traffic. Then you go work out. Is your workout based and literally built to combat what you just did for 10 hours or so? If it's not, you could be furthering the problem. Lower back pain is the most prominent pain in this country and probably the world. It's probably because we all sit so much, right? So why not address that first before moving on? Okay, so flexibility, manual therapy, the best way to start when it comes to training and when it comes to your fitness program.